Hello, my spooky friends.
I'm Cassie,
And I'm Caitlin.
and welcome to I'd Survive.
All right. So today we're going to be getting into a really fun movie. But before we do, what's up? How you been? Anything fun in the horror world?
Girl, I still just want to see Companion. Like I'm
And
sitting here.
I still want to see the monkey. So,
I'm to the point where I feel like Companion's gonna be out. I think it's coming to Max when it starts streaming. And it's gonna come to Max in April. And I'm at the point where I've just been hyping it up so much in my head and on
uh-huh.
this podcast that I'm like, maybe that's gotta be an episode. You know what I mean?
That could be fun.
I feel like it might make for a fun episode, but other than that, my horror brain has just been centered on getting my next episode ready,
Yes.
which is going to be another 2022 movie because why not? I really was in the horror genre in 2022 for some reason,
Mhm.
so there's so many movies on my backlog from then. And then I think like my movie after that, I really want to for the first time do a movie that I'm watching for the first time for the
Okay,
podcast.
yeah.
And I think I found one. It's from 76 and it's weird. And so
Ooh.
my horror has all been centered around this podcast lately, and I'm not mad about it.
No, I feel that. I think it's funny that you're like thinking episodes ahead, whereas like I chose mine like 5 days ago.
Well, for me though, like I half of the fun is just like picking a movie and then I'm like, okay, now I have to figure out how I want to tell it. And then I'm so excited again to like tell you.
I know. The
But
whole process is just so much fun.
yeah.
So this week for me, I watched Cuckoo. I did watch that and watched it a few times actually. I'm on my third watch now. But
Ooh.
I rewatched Paranormal Activity 3 the other night before I went to bed. And I know people hate those movies and that franchise, but they scare the crap out of me. Like I was rewatching, but I was so tense and my heart rate was so high just like laying in bed watching this movie. I love those movies so much.
I have like distinct memories of watching that first one, but it's been
Mhm.
so long. Like all the other ones in the whole franchise have like not stuck with me, so I feel like I'm due for a rewatch there. But I remember being very spooked and very creeped out by the most mundane shit in that first
Yes.
movie, and the lore goes hard in that franchise, from what I can remember.
Oh yeah, it does. It's like super messy, but they tried and I respect them.
That's the best. No, that's the best type of horror lore. They just keep adding it on and it makes no sense. And you're just like, well, we're here now.
Also, we launched the podcast, so we've been in the
I feel
That's
like
so I mean.
we should leave this in at this point and just share with the class that the amount of times, I mean it's not a crazy amount of times, but there's a train right by me. You guys can probably barely hear it, but we don't want to have to hear it at all. And so we always are stopping for this damn train
Yeah,
across the street from
we're
me.
just listening to the train go by. So, as I was saying, we have launched the podcast, and so we've been living in that craziness for the past like 5 days or so, and it's been awesome,
Yeah.
honestly.
It's been like I don't know, it's so hard. Obviously, we knew we both had Caitlin had a significant audience on YouTube. I have somewhat of an audience on YouTube, and we like knew some people were going to come over and support, but the amount of people that actually came over to take a listen was incredible. And as of yesterday, we're like charting on Spotify US like under the TV film category,
Yeah.
which is insane. And I think it's because, especially on Spotify, I didn't know about that feature where people could comment on the episodes.
Yeah.
Interaction like that, I bet, is exactly what got us on the charts. So,
That's
like,
actually so true. I didn't even really think about that.
yeah. So, thanks to everyone who's doing that. And, like, please continue to do that because
Yeah,
we want to,
that's awesome.
that's crazy.
Yeah, all the engagement's been really great, and we're just very grateful. So thank you if you've been listening and engaging and stuff. It's kind of really cool, and we're really appreciative of that. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
So we're getting into a movie today called Cuckoo. It is from 2024. Do you know anything about this movie at all?
All I know about it, I think, is the movie poster. So, I
Hmm.
know, like, Hunter Schafer is our girly,
Yes.
and she wears a bandana.
Sorta.
Is that what?
Not
That's what I
really.
that's what I gathered from the poster. I don't even she might not even have a bandana on, but for some reason, my brain is like Hunter Schafer in a bandana. Cuckoo. That's what
I
I
mean,
know.
listen, you're close. You're not too far off, but that's honestly,
Uh,
it's good. It's good.
yeah.
So, again, this is a 2024 film. It was actually a co-production between Germany and the USA. It was
Mm.
two production companies, Fiction Park, German company, and Waypoint Entertainment, USA. It was written and directed by Tillman Singer, and it actually was featured in multiple film festivals before getting a full theatrical release.
We love a festival film.
Exactly. Film festival. Those movies are just the best.
Yeah.
And you already know it stars Hunter Schafer as our main character.
So it's gonna be good.
So it's gonna be good.
Did you
Exactly.
I need to know, like, did you really enjoy it?
It's a listen, that is a loaded question, and I
Yeah.
think you'll understand exactly what I mean by that as we go through
Okay.
this film.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So, let's get into it. Our movie opens with the sound of birds cawing, quite unpleasantly, might I add, before we fade into our first shot of the film, which is a shot of two people arguing in a house at night, but we don't actually see them. We only see their shadow like reflected on the wall. It's kind of a
Mm.
cool, eerie shot. It seems like they're probably a couple. It's two people. They're acting kind of coupley, but they are arguing in German. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's very aggressive because German, be aggressive.
Right,
That
right.
German, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we cut to a girl within the same house, writhing in a bed. She's shaking, she's twitching, she's acting really strange. She's like grabbing at her head and just like her body seems really tense.
Oh.
And then she gets up and she just walks outside. She's pretty calm, but she's still kind of like twitching a little bit in her hands. And she's standing in the doorway of her house when we hear the fight behind her come to an end with a bang and then silence.
What kind of bang? We're not talking
Just
gunshots.
no, not a gunshot bang. Like, it sounds almost like a pot or a pan kind of bang.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
not great.
No.
Next, we get a close up of this girl's ear, and it wiggles a little bit. Her ear
Oh,
just kind of does a little bloop bloop, a little wiggle. Can you wiggle your ears?
I can't. Sometimes it happens accidentally.
How does that happen
I don't
accidentally?
like, I sometimes I
What do you mean?
this is such a random thing about me, and I've never thought about it, like, actively out loud before. So but anyways, no, sometimes, like, my mouth or jaw moves in a certain way, and then my ears move with it. And, like, this doesn't happen all the time, you
I'm
know?
concerned for you.
I'm concerned now too, because that's weird that now that I think about it. Anyways.
Wow, that's not the answer I was expecting, but I'm really excited that we got to know that about you. That's really great. This girl's ears doing a little wiggle dance, and then she whips around as if she's heard something and just takes off running out of the house into the night in her pajamas, just full sprint. Off she goes.
Okay.
So now we get a voiceover that comes in German. There's going to be a lot of German. I'm not going to tell you every time it's German, but it's kind of a
Yeah.
mixed English German situation.
Yeah.
So we hear a man on the phone while we see the other receiving this message, peering out of a lit doorway in the night. And this is what the man on the phone says: "You lost your adolescent already? This will complicate matters. A young one is on the way, but the mother will be harder to control without a nestling around."
Oh, uh,
And then we get the title screen.
hold on. Okay, okay, okay. I need to, like, recap to you to just make sure I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what
go
the hell's
ahead.
happening
That
right now.
I expect that to happen a lot. I'm not even gonna
Okay.
lie.
First of all, can I ask, like, is this, teenager that just ran out the house, is that Hunter?
Nope, it is not.
Okay. So, random teenager is experiencing, I don't know, convulsions, and then is maybe hearing things and is running away. I don't know what's going on there.
Uh huh.
And then I'm gonna assume it's her parents that are arguing, and they get a call.
Yeah, I think it's honestly not clear that this
Okay,
is the same. It's very kind of ambiguous.
okay,
But
so
we do see a man on the phone in the doorway, and it seems like it's probably her father,
yes,
and there's another man on the line.
and the other man is upset because they somehow know that the daughter just took off,
Mhm.
and they're like, this is going to complicate things. What with the mother? What mother are
Mhm.
we? It's giving like baby cult, like stealing babies. I don't.
Right? Isn't it?
That's where I'm at right now.
That's, a fair place to be. So this is where we find out where our movie actually takes place. It's in the Bavarian Alps in Germany.
Hmm.
So we start to meet our characters here. So we meet Gretchen, who is a 17-year-old American girl, played by Hunter Schafer, and she's riding in a moving van with two German men. And the men are asking her about her family who's riding in the car in front of them. And through
Oh.
this conversation, we learn that she has her father, Lewis, her father's wife, and her father's wife's daughter. And it may seem strange to word it that way, but this is the way that Gretchen wants it to be known. That woman, Beth, that's not her mother. And that girl, Alma, that is not her sister.
Ooh, that's crazy that it extends to the sister too.
Exactly. So when one of the men asks if her sister is deaf, because apparently he's, spoken to her or whatever, she even replies with, "No, she can't speak. It's fucking annoying."
Okay, so she has a lot of empathy.
Yes, tons of empathy. She's very understanding.
Wait, is it explained later and I shouldn't know now, or is there an assumption I'm supposed to make? Is that like literally her mom, but she like disowned her, or is it like stepmom situation?
Stepmom.
Okay,
This
okay,
is a
okay.
stepmom situation, and I think we will get into that more. But yeah, she's just very much about like, she doesn't like, stepmom doesn't like stepsister. She makes that
That's
very
rough.
clear.
That's
Yes.
rough.
So finally, we arrive where we've been heading, and we see a sign for Resort Alpschatta, I believe is the pronunciation. Don't come for me, which roughly translates to Alpine Treasures in English. So it's a
Okay.
resort that we've arrived at.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, so we make it to the lobby, and here we meet the owner of the resort, and his name is Mr. Bear with me, everybody. Mr. Kirnish. It's actually spelled Konig, but I believe it's something in the realm of Kirnish. Just bear with me throughout this as I try to pronounce a name that I don't know. I looked it up too, but like there are sounds coming out that I've never made with my
Oh.
mouth
Oh
before,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, what do
No.
I do?
You're doing great. It sounds great to me,
Yeah,
so.
there we go. So, what's weird here is there are these slightly flirty vibes
Oh no.
between Beth and Kernish. It's kind of weird because her husband's literally like right there. And Beth says to Kernish, "We almost forgot how beautiful it is here." And he replies with, "I almost forgot how beautiful you are." Which, like, might be fine, but trust me, like, there's tone and delivery here where you're like, okay.
Yeah. Is Lewis just completely unbothered?
He's got a little look on his face, like, oh, that's a little
Uh,
weird.
got it.
A little uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah. Then they talk about how Beth and Lewis had seen this land before and how they were excited to see their new home on the property.
Oh,
Kiernish,
their
yeah,
new home. They're like rich. They're rich rich.
maybe. Maybe.
Or maybe they're selling babies
Oh,
and that's how they can.
exactly. Kiernish lays on a, you two lovebirds stumbled into my nest almost 8 years ago to the day, and I believe there were more than just architectural plans that were conceived this day. Gretchen is like standing nearby and just like absolutely like gives the most dramatic shudder of all time. Because yeah, I don't want to hear that from this random man that I just met.
I don't want to hear the word conceived in that way with
No,
that insinuation. Thank you so
no.
much. That's enough.
Like this guy's just like weird. And I just immediately I was just like, he gives off weird vibes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a secret. He's just strange.
Yeah.
So Alma actually joins in on the conversation just to say hello, but she uses, again, she can't speak. So she uses a device where she types in what she wants to say and then it will
Mm.
say it out loud. And she just kind of says hello and then they laugh and it's cute. And Alma's really cute. She's kind of adorable.
Mhm.
So Gretchen kind of wants to get away from this, and I don't blame her. So she walks into the main lobby of the resort to use the bathroom. And while she's in there, she plays a voicemail on her phone that seems to be from a friend saying she hopes she's doing well and that she wished they'd had more time to hang out after the funeral. We also learn from this voicemail
Oh.
that Gretchen was in a band back in the States, and this friend slash bandmate of hers is sending her a new mix. She ends the voicemail with, "Your mom would have loved it."
Mhm. That's making more sense. I mean, it sounds like it was relatively recent, so like the grieving process is still happening and she's just has hatred for this what probably feels like a replacement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what we can kind of glean from this is that Gretchen's mom recently passed away, but Beth and Lewis have also clearly been in a long term relationship. So, what
Wait, that's so true. The weird comment about, like, 8 years ago.
So what's interesting is this confused me on my first watch, but what I
Yeah,
think the implication is meant to be is that Lewis and Gretchen's mother separated a long time ago, and then Lewis remarried, and then the mother passed.
okay.
This is not super clear, but it took me a while to kind of catch on, like, that's the implication.
Yeah, got it.
So while Gretchen is in the stall, somebody else enters the bathroom. Very slowly, we can hear heeled footsteps on the floor and then silence. And it's kind of weird because then the door to Gretchen's stall is aggressively hit and shaken.
No.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't like
I don't like it either.
that.
Gretchen thinks it's Beth, so she's like, hey, occupied. But she
Yep.
gets no response, obviously. So we hear the footsteps again, and they go into the stall next to Gretchen's. There's some weird noises as we realize this person is actually getting up on the toilet, like standing on the toilet. And then again, silence. Before Beth comes in to interrupt, telling Gretchen they've got to go to the house. Gretchen makes a beeline for the exit, and once she leaves, we see feet come down from the toilet beneath the stall door. So there was just somebody in here.
What kind of feet are we talking? Do they look normal?
So they are like shoes, like little boots with
Yeah.
heels.
Okay. Okay. That's no, my mind immediately goes to someone just tagged me and I'm gonna be trafficked.
Mm, that's
Like,
fun.
that's
I'm glad that's where your mind went.
I have a dark mind and I'm
Uh
scared of
huh.
everything.
Uh
So
huh.
I would probably make a big deal out of that in her shoes and be like, "Mom?" Or I guess not mom.
Beth?
"Dad?"
Wait, but like, real question, would you just like make a beeline exit or would you kind of like stop and look under the stall?
Okay, so Beth came in and was like,
Mhm.
"Let's go."
Yep.
I would be like, something weird is happening in there, and I would probably wait outside of the bathroom and just wait for
Mm.
them to come out eventually so I can see who that is and what we're dealing with.
That's smart. I didn't even
Yeah.
think of that. Look at you. Look
Look
at
at
you.
me.
Your survivability.
I'm at 100%,
Let's
baby.
go. So we make our way to the new home, and it looks honestly, it's very sleek, very modern, kind of screams LA luxury, but smaller. It's like,
Mm,
like one of those LA, like tons of just window walls kind of vibes.
yes.
So Beth, Lewis, and Kiernish are inside looking at the house while Gretchen is outside with Alma. Now, there's this weird moment here that I feel like we see in a lot of horror films where the family dog looks
Okay.
into the woods next to the house and starts growling. We linger on that for a little longer than I want to because it's kind of like it's just the back and forth between like the dog, the woods, the dog, the woods. And you're like, what's in there?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting like, I don't like that, the woods. I thought we were gonna
Mhm.
be, like, Midsummer creepy people vibes, but just the woods being an antagonist for a second is, like,
Yeah.
really spooky.
Here come the trees.
Also, I'm just stressed that we have a dog because 'cause I'm like,
Always.
"Okay, well, now I have to worry about this dog."
We got to go to the website. Does the dog
Oh my
die.com.
god, I forgot about that
I
website.
know.
It's super useful tool.
Very useful. So then a woman drives up the road and she stops in front of the house to introduce herself to Gretchen as their new neighbor, Dr. Bonomo.
Alright.
So now Kurdish comes out to join the conversation between Gretchen and Dr. Bonomo, and when he does, he puts his hands on Gretchen's shoulders for just a little too long. Just like kind of like runs his fingers along her back and then just like rests his hands there, and you're like, please don't touch. Sir.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's immediately when you said he was creepy in the beginning, I was like, "What is he gonna do to this 17-year-old? Like, I'm scared."
Mm-hmm.
But then he was, like, being weird with Beth, so I was like, "Okay, it's still creepy, but, like, whatever." I
Different.
and now you went there. Well, he
Yep.
went there. You didn't
Mhm.
decide that. He
I
did.
d I really didn't. I promise you it wasn't me. So he tells Gretchen that Dr. Bonomo is the medical superintendent of the local hospital and the chronic disease treatment facility that Kernish is so proud to say he contributes money to. So she's as obviously a doctor and she kind of runs the medical stuff around here. And he truly takes over this conversation because then he tells Dr. Bonomo that Gretchen decided to move in with her father. And this moment right here, he tells her this, and Dr. Bonomo gives Kairnish a look that screams sus. It's just one of those shots where you're like, you know how intentional that shot was. She looks at him and just kind of gives him this look that's very pointed that says, "Oh, really? You didn't share this important information with me." Like she's really intrigued and maybe a little concerned.
Oh, because wait, she's concerned because Gretchen is staying with her dad?
Like that is the line that that causes that look. Yes.
That's so weird because, like, yeah, what she's 17, like, who else would she be
Mhm.
with? So I'm like, now I'm sus
Yeah.
because why are you sus?
Right.
Like, what's
Everybody
sus about this?
literally, I can't even stress to you how just, like, off the vibes are. Like,
Oh,
watching this movie, you're just like, "What? Why are
yeah.
you acting like that? You're being weird, everyone's being weird."
Ugh, yeah.
So, now Gretchen calls her mom's phone to leave her a voicemail, which is
Oh,
honestly yeah, it's just really sad because we
yeah.
know her mother has passed, and she, tells her through tears that she knows that going with her dad was a bad idea. She wishes she were back home in the house that they'd shared. She says, "I'm short on money, but I'm gonna try to come home soon." Like, she doesn't
Oh.
wanna be here.
Well, now I'm gonna be depressed because what if she doesn't get to go home? Like,
I
why is
know.
it's already doing this to me, like, now I'm scared for her no.
So when Kurnish walks into the room in the next scene and offers her a job at the front desk, of course she accepts because, as you know, she wants money. She wants to get out of here. So she's like, "Sure, I'll work at the front desk."
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Also, this can I call him Mr. K?
I was gonna call him Mr. K. And then I was like, I gotta say it,
I
Kiernish.
know, like, as, like, the host of the story, it's like you
Mm-hmm.
wanna be but I'm like, I'm scared. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
If you call him
Mr.
Mr.
K.
K, that's literally so cool.
Okay, so why is he everywhere? Like, this whole time, he's,
Why is
like, just
Kiernish everywhere?
yes.
That is my question too, believe me. You
Yeah.
turn around and there he is every
Yeah.
4 seconds. It's awful. So, again, she starts her training with Trixie the next day, and there's a cop here. His name is Eric, who seems to be somewhat role playing as a guest to help train Gretchen, but he gives off weird vibes too.
Of
Because of course
course.
he does. Because everybody here does. Nobody's normal.
Yep,
Everybody's weird.
yep.
Trixie tells Gretchen that if anything goes really wrong, she can just call Kiernish, who lives up the road on the resort property,
Because he's
because
always around.
he's always freaking around. Now, because this is a horror film, of course somebody is now throwing up in the background
Oh,
because
yeah.
vomit is a big part of horror for some reason.
I don't know how we got here, but
Yep, it's next thing you know. So Trixie sees this woman vomiting, leans over to Gretchen, and says something here that weirds me out. She says, "This happens sometimes."
I this is a resort.
Literally. Like, what do you mean this happens sometimes? And it's not like this woman was, like, drunk or anything. She was just walking around with who seemed to be her partner, and she just started vomiting.
Oh, it's like there's some like, with the woods and this, it's like there's something in the air here.
Right?
Mhm.
So, Kiernis shows up at the front desk
Of
and
course.
tells Gretchen he'll be back in an hour to pick her up. And Gretchen's like, "Oh, no thanks. Like, I have my bike. I'll just bike back. It's good." But Kiernish gets real stern here, telling her she can't do that because it's dark and it's dangerous. She will wait for him, and she will also not work late shifts. He's very serious about this.
Listen, Mr. K, I think you're dangerous, so I'm gonna take the bike. I'm gonna the darkness is fine, the woods is fine as long as I'm not with you. Thank you.
Right? I guess he picks her up or whatever because
Yeah.
next thing you know, we're in Gretchen's room.
Oh,
Don't know how we got here, but we're here.
okay.
And she's listening to music with her headphones on while strumming on her guitar. Because, again, she's in a band, she's a music girly.
Yes.
So Alma walks in quietly and is standing near Gretchen, who is completely unaware of her presence because she's got her headphones on. She doesn't know Alma's here. Now, this is where I want to take a second to emphasize the sound design in this film,
Love.
because up to this point and from here on out, there have been a lot of, typical creepy horror sounds happening, from wavering flute sounds to screeches to high pitched tones. It's kind of all over the place.
Mhm.
So just keep in mind that that's going to be happening a lot, but it
Okay.
kind of starts to play a part here. We get a shot of the same forest that I talked about earlier. But now we can see two reddish pink glowing circles in the trees. It's
Okay.
a very quick insert shot, but it's there, and you could miss it if you're not looking closely enough,
Okay.
but there are reddish pink glowing circles, 2 of them, right next to each other. Very eye-like.
I didn't it's giving like we're getting into paranormal territory.
Mhm.
I didn't expect this, and
Right?
now I'm like, I have no idea where this is going now. I was like, "Okay, this is gonna be like a cult, this is gonna be like trafficking, creepy resort." Now we have, like, aliens?
Maybe.
Maybe. The 4th kind is coming after me again.
Apparently. So, Alma's kinda being cute here. She's mimicking Gretchen playing guitar. It's adorable, but again, Gretchen doesn't even know she's in the room with her. So the high-pitched sounds are happening right now in the background, and
Mhm.
suddenly it's as if Alma can hear them. It seemed like it was just part of the atmosphere up to this point, but now it's starting to seem like there's, like, an environmental aspect, as if these
Yeah.
sounds are truly in the environment. We get another insert shot here, and this one's hard to explain, not even because it's hard to explain, just because it doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
This insert shot is a close-up of what seems to be a woman's lower neck and upper chest area. She's wearing a red blouse, and we can see a, like, pulse coming from her neck, and it's very, very quick. It's very fast
Mm.
pulse. Kinda looks like she has some sort of tube attached to her, but it's so close up, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
But that's just, like, a quick insert, we see that, and next thing we know, Alma's body starts seizing.
Like the girl from the beginning.
Exactly. She starts like, her hands start going and everything, and then this is when Gretchen turns around and finally notices her.
Yeah.
Bear with me here because, if you think this has been crazy,
Oh
just
god.
here we go. So Gretchen takes off her headphones at this point and goes over to Alma. The screeching sound gets louder, and the image, like the movie itself, begins to pulse similarly to the
Ooh.
chest.
Oh,
It's a really
cool.
bizarre effect. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Gretchen touches Alma's shoulder, and suddenly we are transported back about 10 seconds. Same thing happens again and again before Alma reaches out and attacks Gretchen, scratching her in the face. So there's like a little bit of like a weird time loop that suddenly just randomly out of nowhere just comes in, and we just experience the same 10 seconds like 3 times.
And that's not the movie edit, that's, like, actually happening?
Well, at first I thought my movie was literally glitching cuz
Oh,
like I was
wow.
like, "Oh, that doesn't make any sense." But no, like this is happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Beth and Lewis come into the room to see Alma distressed and immediately coddle her and look to Gretchen in a way that's like, "What did you do to her?" You know?
Ugh.
They have
Mhm.
that look on their face. And then we just kind of cut out of that. It's a weird scene. It's very bizarre. And it just is a part where your brain really is going to start asking a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now, my brain is at, like, the wall of, like, I don't even know what question to ask because now there's just so much up in the air.
That is so fair. So now we're back at our job at the front desk with Trixie, except Trixie's leaving and having Gretchen cover the rest of her shift after hours.
Uh-oh.
Trixie is excited because she says she and Eric haven't been on a date in ages. So apparently Trixie and the cop are dating,
Okay.
apparently, and she's going to see him tonight. They're going to go on a date.
That's fine.
They're a very unlikely couple, but everything about everything here is unlikely.
Kind of annoying that you're, like, leaving the 17-year-old to do the after-hours shift, but, like, okay.
Before Trixie heads out, she should remind Gretchen that their boss doesn't need to know about this. Karenish,
Mm.
he can't know. He can't know. Gretchen falls asleep while she's at the front desk and wakes up somewhere probably around 10:30 p.m. She was supposed to close up at 10,
Oh.
but it's now 10:30.
Oh, spooky things are gonna happen. No, spooky
Spooks. We
it's
love
after hours
sp-
officially, something's gonna go down.
Uh-huh. She wakes up to the sound of the bell ringing at the front desk because there is a woman, her name is Ed. She comes to the front desk to get a room and some beers from the little shop that they have there in the lobby.
Oh.
There's some tension here between Ed and Gretchen, like a little flirty kind of tension, a little chemistry going on.
Oh.
But, she's just getting a room. Nothing crazy. Ed tells Gretchen that she should come to Paris sometime to experience the music scene. It's flirty, but then they're interrupted by a woman puking in the background.
You know what? It's okay 'cause it happens sometimes.
It. She pukes and then chugs a soda from the shelf and just starts walking away. And Gretchen's calling out to her, but she's completely unresponsive. She's not hearing anything. She's kind of zombie like walking away, almost like she's not there at all.
Yeah, weird.
So Ed is like, "Oh, we should go check on her." And Gretchen's like, "Yeah, we should." And Ed goes to do that, but then the phone rings. And then Gretchen has to decide between going after this guest or grabbing the phone. She kind of hesitates, but eventually she's like, "All right, fine. I'll get the phone."
Yeah.
Uh-oh, it's Kiernish on the line.
Well, yeah.
Whoopsies.
He just knows all. He
He
is
does.
everywhere all the time. Even if it's not in person, he's there.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. So he's immediately in panic mode, demanding to know why Gretchen's there and not Trixie. He's firm in saying Gretchen needs to lock the doors immediately and wait for him to come get her. Gretchen
Mhm.
tells him that she needs to deal with this confused guest right now and she has her bike, so she'll be fine, and then she just hangs up on him.
Oh, okay. Nope. What would you do? What would you do?
What would you do? Honestly, like, even though I don't like Mr. Kiernish, I'm probably waiting for him.
I agree. Like, I don't know. It's just there's been enough like little weird things that have happened just everywhere around this resort at this point, and his like fear of her being out after a certain hour feels valid. Like I'm to the point where I'm like, is he a bad guy or is he someone who's trying to keep things under control
Mhm.
from whatever presence is causing all of this, whether that be supernatural or like bad people? I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, but that could be me falling into a trap. I don't know.
Exactly. There's a lot of weighing of options you gotta do here.
Yeah.
So Gretchen walks in the direction that the woman went, but she seems to be gone now. So she's like, okay, fine. I'll just start locking up. And she gets ready to leave. She gets on her bike, puts on her headphones, and heads out. While she's pedaling back, we pass a field where we see a girl running. Not out for a run, but just running.
Oh my god, is it the girl from the beginning?
I don't know.
Oh
Is
my god,
it?
it could be. It could
It could
be.
be. Gretchen just like straight up ignores it and keeps going. Like she doesn't even seem phased. She's just like, okay, I gotta get home.
Do you know what? What else can you do at that point? Like pedal a
Right.
little faster, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. Exactly. And then back at the lobby, Kirdish is walking around, presumably looking for Gretchen. He
Mhm.
whispers in German, where are you? Come here. Before pulling out a flute from his pocket and beginning to play it.
Okay. I mean, it's just
Literally, that's like what this movie is. Okay. Like,
like
why?
okay. Did not mean to repeat that, but that's all
No,
that's
but like
happening
that's
in
your
my head.
brain. 'Cause you're just like, "What
So,
the frick?"
is it shot in like a kind of silly way or is it very serious moment?
Oh, it's serious.
Okay, so I think I'm leaning toward there's a creature. I
Mhm.
don't know what type of creature we're talking about, if it's human like or just complete monster vibes, but I feel
Mhm.
like that's something you do with like a creature, like you call it to you with a song that
Mhm.
feels okay. It feels like folklory. Like this is a folklore
Ooh,
tale
yeah.
coming to life right now.
I see where you're coming from. So we're back with Gretchen, who's still just pedaling home, and we get what is probably one of my favorite shots in a horror film that
Ooh.
I've seen up to this point. I think it's very unique. So we're above Gretchen, and we can see that she's passing underneath streetlights because her shadow keeps appearing from behind her and disappearing in front of her. You know that kind of effect that happens
Yes.
when you're driving and the shadows are just kind of moving back and forth.
Yeah.
So we can see that as she's pedaling along on the road, and suddenly it's more than just her shadow. There's a
Oh
shadow
no.
of a person running right behind her, reaching out for her, getting closer and closer, like with
Ew.
each street light that she passes under.
I hate well, I love and I hate a
I
shadow.
know what you mean.
It's used like shadow work was done really well in Nosferatu. It's just
Mm,
like always so creepy before like revealing a monster for it to almost like for a shadow's creepier than an actual monster.
right.
It's like what is that?
Uh huh.
Ew, I hate it.
So Gretchen again, she's got her headphones on, so she can't like hear anything. But once she notices this shadow, she kind of turns to the left. She sees it. She turns around and she sees a woman dressed in lots of layers of clothing. Her head is covered. She's wearing large bug eye glasses
Uh,
with a pinkish red lens. She basically looks like a terrifying, speedy old woman with intense sunglasses on. She's also screeching, which
oh,
is really cute.
she's just like she's quirky.
She's cute and quirky, and she's out for a run.
What in the world? Now I'm also wondering if the shadow work at the beginning of the movie is like tied into what's happening here, and
Mm,
if there's a link between my brain is gonna, whether that's good or not, my brain's gonna be stuck in that opening scene.
mhm.
We don't know. This isn't the woman that was running. We don't know for sure.
We
Like through
don't
the
really know.
field.
The woman was, like, far away, so we didn't really
Okay.
see her.
Could be, could not. Yeah.
So, obviously, Gretchen's like, "Oh, time to go," so she pedals away real
Yep.
fast, and she ends up at the hospital, likely probably the first building that she comes across, and she tries to get in, but the doors are locked, which
Ooh.
sucks because Scary Lady has caught up with us.
Oh, she's still running at
Oh,
us.
yeah, she's still coming.
Okay, and still screeching.
No, she's quiet now. She's done
Okay.
screeching. Now she's
Well,
just kind of slow and, like, I feel like slower is worse with,
yes.
like, monster type vibes because you're I don't know, I just don't like slow.
Especially when you know they're capable of fast, but they're just choosing
Yes,
to be
exactly.
slow.
Not like Michael
Ugh.
Myers who only knows how to be slow.
Exactly,
That
exactly.
he only knows how to tiptoe. Gretchen's slamming on the intercom button, begging to be let in, and this woman hears her and unlocks the door as the Scary Lady gets closer. Are you good?
Yes, I'm, like, studying this
Oh,
is so funny. This is so funny that Caitlin just had to check in on me because it just shows how concerned I am right now
I looked at
about
her and I was like, "Is she okay?"
I'm looking at the characters I've written down, and I'm literally thinking to myself right now, I'm scared of Dr. Bonomo, and I'm hoping that we don't have to that they're not gonna be at the hospital. I'm just have the most, like, concerned look on my face just because of that.
Okay, I thought, like, something bad was happening, but
It
no.
is, it
Well, that's
is.
true. So Gretchen's here, she's trying to get in, and we hear a lady on the intercom, "Okay, like, I'll let you in." She does unlock the door for Gretchen, so Gretchen's able to get in, but she's actually like, it's a double set of doors, so now she's in between 2 sets of
Oh,
doors,
yep.
and I don't think she knows that because for some reason, she, like, runs into the 2nd set and, like, huge gash on her forehead.
Oh, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, blood everywhere. I'm like, "Girl, like, see much? I don't understand."
I mean, we're at the hospital, it's fine.
Exactly. It's a good place to do that.
Yeah.
But now she's stuck in between, and Scary Lady has approached the first set of doors and is now also hitting the intercom button to be let in.
Oh
Because
my
this second
god.
set of doors is locked, so she can't go anywhere from here. We hear the woman on the intercom say, "Yeah, yeah, I'm coming." Suddenly the police arrive and Scary Lady just disappears. Poof, she's
Oh,
gone.
I wonder if I wonder if Dr. K, he's a
He's
Mr.
a
K.
mister.
If Mr. K called the police? I feel like
Mm.
this woman that's running after, Gretchen, that's who he was, like, playing the flute for.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and then maybe she wasn't coming, so then he called the police, and
Mm,
okay, okay, I'm gonna so in my mind, she's our number 1 little monster villain, but
okay.
also we don't know, she's probably had something done to her, I don't know, it's giving maybe barbarian where, like,
Mm,
it's not her fault, I don't, because this whole place is weird. Anyways.
gotcha. Luckily, as you said, Gretchen's at the hospital because she's gonna need some stitches for that gash on her
Yeah.
forehead. So while she's getting stitched up, well, actually stapled, it was a stapling situation, which I
Oh.
don't know what when you get stitches versus when you get staples.
Yeah, like, what is worse? I actually don't know.
I think staples.
Okay, it seems worse to me, just the act of getting stapled.
Right?
But yeah, I would assume then that means the wound is, I don't know. Either way, rough.
Yeah. While she's getting stapled up over here, an officer, Eric, again, Mr. Eric Kopp, is recounting the story with her in a way where he clearly doesn't believe anything that she's telling him.
Okay.
No, naturally, because that's the way things work around here. He's like, I think you might have been pranked.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep,
that
that's it.
that was so funny.
It was hilarious. I was laughing the whole time. What's weird here, Gretchen, she's like, "Okay, cool, my staples are good." She gets up to leave and, like, just runs into her family in the hallway of the hospital
Oh, okay.
because I guess Alma had another seizure. Yay.
Oh no. No, I'm worried about Elma.
Uh-huh. So, Dr. Bonomo is here, and she tells Lewis that Alma may have childhood epilepsy and that this seizure was likely caused by a stressful event or disruption within the family that Alma may have experienced. She says this and then looks directly at Gretchen, and so does Lewis.
This is what I'm saying, I don't like Dr. Bonomo.
I know.
I knew immediately. Like, what? Why are you trying to turn them against her? And then it comes back to that this doctor is the one who had the weird reaction to Gretchen
Yes.
staying. So it's
Yes.
like, what do you have against Gretchen? Why are you trying
Right?
to isolate her from
Mm-hmm.
her family?
Yeah. So like there's just like this immediate blame that seems to be getting put on Gretchen for literally everything, which is
Mhm.
so messed up. So
Mhm.
Gretchen calls her mom again, calls her mom's phone, and she's filling her in on the weird shit that's been happening. And she even says, I think dad is blaming me. I'm coming back home. I've got the money.
Oh,
Yeah. Right?
okay.
So like she's very aware that like her dad is kind of being a bitch.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, valid.
So, next thing you know, we're working another shift back at the lobby, and a man approaches Gretchen. He introduces himself as a PI named Henry, and he wants to talk to her about the incident from the night before.
Okay. Maybe this guy will finally listen and help us out.
Right? But of course, Gretchen refuses to talk to him.
Oh, well, that's not what I would do.
No,
That's
me
not
neither.
be like,
Me neither.
let me start from the beginning, and I
Right?
would just spill everything. I
Like
mean,
someone wants to listen, and now you're turning them away.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe in her mind, she's like, I'm about to get out of here anyways. Like, I just want to be done with this whole situation. But I feel like, knowing it's a movie, it's like you're not going anywhere. So you might
Right?
want a friend right now.
Right? Gretchen also notices that Ed is back in the lobby, and she seems eager to speak with her because, again, there were some flirty vibes there.
Okay, yeah.
Henry is kind of like, fine, but he says, please come see me in my room later. And she just says, fine, like whether or not she means it, but she's like,
Right.
fine, yeah, I'll come
Yeah.
talk to you later, whatever. Just get out of my way. I want to talk to Ed.
Yeah.
Much to Gretchen's disappointment, Ed is actually checking out. Ed asks how much she owes, and Gretchen says, nothing. Like, it's on the house. Like, you don't owe anything for your room, which, I mean, that's not really on her to do that, but I
I
guess.
was gonna say, again, she's just planning to leave soon, so she's like, "What the hell?"
She doesn't give a shit.
This is interesting though that Ed I wasn't expecting anyone to be able to leave a place like this
Mm.
because of how creepy it is. So it feels definitely like more targeted now on maybe Gretchen specifically. I don't
Interesting.
know.
Yeah. Ed asks Gretchen if she smokes. Gretchen smirks, and boom, we're making out and smoking cigarettes up against a tree.
Oh,
So,
all
get it, I
right.
guess.
Yeah.
On your shift, whatever works.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, well, I'm just thinking about that empty desk in there. I'm like,
Right?
too responsible for that.
So Gretchen, no, here's the thing though. Gretchen decides, fuck it, I'm leaving with Ed. She empties the register of all the money and leaves with Ed.
Oh
Which
no.
my immediate reaction to that is like, girl, don't do that. Now you're just gonna be like wanted, low key.
Yeah, like, this town hates you for some reason, your family is, like, against you, like,
Uh-huh.
I don't wanna give more reason for people to be against me in this situation.
Absolutely.
Ugh.
So they're vibing in the car, and Gretchen tells Ed that she just needs to get to an airport so she can go back to her home in the States.
Mhm.
But that thing happens again. They're chatting and we get stuck in a time loop. So we
Ooh.
keep this like going back 10 seconds. But this time, Gretchen seems to be aware of it. Whereas before, she was just reliving the 10 seconds without any care in the world. This time, like she has a look on her face like, wait, didn't I just
Oh,
say that?
interesting. Yeah.
We're hearing the loud screeching again, and it's getting louder and louder until they come up on the scary woman standing in the middle of the road. Ed swerves to avoid her and crashes the car.
Ugh. Okay, it had to
We
be
knew
done.
we knew she wasn't getting anywhere, which is
Yeah.
like, but it's still disappointing.
Yeah, right, you wanna just be like, because movies can take twists and turns you don't expect, but
Barbarian.
yes, absolutely. But, did is the woman still wearing sunglasses is my question.
She looks exactly the same as she did before.
Love that.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
image in my head is so crazy. I need to, like, look up this woman
I
after.
know. I know. Gretchen is conscious, but in a really bad state. And
Ooh,
Ed is either unconscious or dead. We don't know.
ooh, yikes.
We're upside down at this point. So, like, all the shots are completely upside down.
Mhm.
Gretchen actually has, like, blood going from a cut on her head dripping into her eye. It's a really nasty shot. Like, her eye turns, like, all
Ooh,
red. It's so
ooh.
gross. I hate
Yeah,
it.
I hate that.
But then we're looking out the car door and we see two legs approaching wearing a skirt. Somebody's walking up to the car. She bends down and looks into the window and it's her. It's the woman. She's come up to the
No, no.
overturned car.
Oh, no.
And it's
What?
like this whole thing is upside down too. So she just like bends down and like she's just there and she's looking. It's
Oh,
awful.
I have my eyes are wet. I'm not crying, but I literally have tears. I was like, okay, this is gonna be the woman from the beginning. This is gonna be this woman, that woman who's gonna help us.
Mhm.
Why did I assume that anyways, okay. Are we where are we at in the movie? Like vibe wise, are we like halfway? Are we, you
I
know what I
want to say
mean?
we're close to half.
Okay, that's what I was feeling as well. So I was not, I just wasn't ready for sunglasses woman. Maybe, you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe she's an ally. Okay.
Maybe.
Yep.
You know what? Maybe she is. So she, peers her little head in and then she opens her mouth like real wide and starts
No.
screeching.
Okay. Well,
And she starts reaching for Gretchen. And it's like this very prolonged shot because it's like, is she gonna get her? Is she gonna touch her? I don't know.
mhm,
But then
mhm.
we hear two gunshots.
Oh,
Boom, boom. And Gretchen wakes up in the hospital. Boom, boom. Wake up in the hospital.
I'm starting to feel like maybe this sunglasses woman. I hate that I am calling her that because
Okay, that's
for
what we'll
some
call her because
for
I've been
some
calling her
reason
Scary Lady.
the
So that works.
sunglasses detail really stuck with me. Sunglasses woman, the fact that it seems like she can only scream. So then I'm like,
Mm.
oh, maybe you're not scary, maybe you need help, maybe something happened to you.
No, that's an interesting point, though. I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. So, Gretchen's in the hospital and she's got a broken arm, like her arm is in a sling. And
Mhm.
she's got a bandage around her head.
Oh.
Cassie? A bandage.
Um
So you were close. Bandana, bandage.
Wait, now that I think about it, is there blood on it in the
Yeah,
poster?
I think so.
That's coming back to me now that
Yeah.
I that's so nice that my brain just decided to take bandana from that instead. That's a
You're
lot
like
nicer.
your brain was being all innocent. It was like, "She's wearing a bandana."
Yeah.
Now, guess what? Kiernish arrives,
Oh,
and
he's gonna be
he
mad.
he starts speaking some gibberish and riddles about God knows what. This man
Mhm.
just speaks in the weirdest way, and you're just
Mhm.
like, "Sir, shut the hell up."
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you have to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
But then he gets kind of serious, and he does that thing where what he's saying seems kind of like considerate, but it's really a threat.
Ooh.
He's like, "You should probably stay home." He goes, "I wouldn't want to get hurt even more, as if I were stuck in a loop," he says. Huh?
Oh, no, he is
What?
aware. I
Mm,
mean, I figured he was because of how he's been acting in the whole flute situation. Like, I hope
right.
he's aware of something. Otherwise, this is really even more concerning
He's
behavior.
crazy.
But wow, bold of him to just put it out there like that.
I know.
Unless he's not used to people like becoming aware of it, and it's weird that
Mm,
she like clocked it that second time. I don't
right.
know.
Interesting. So then Lewis arrives and Kiernish just sees himself out. He's like, "Oh, okay, bye." And you're like, "Okay, good. Don't come back." Lewis says that he's arrived to get his stuff and go home. And Gretchen's distressed because she's like, aren't you gonna stay here with me? Like this place is scary and I don't want to be alone." But he's all, "Oh, well, I need to go help Beth with Alma. They need me, blah, blah, blah."
Ugh.
And she keeps begging him to stay and he just refuses. And this turns into a full-blown argument where Lewis basically blames Gretchen for everything with Alma, tells her he's tired of her behavior. He says, "If you want to run away, take your fucking bicycle."
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's done. And it's sad because Gretchen is so isolated and like her dad was like even though they clearly weren't getting along great, like that was like the last piece I feel like she had, you
Yeah.
know?
I wonder why, like, it seems ridiculous the amount that they're blaming Gretchen for Elma. I feel like I'm missing something that happened.
I think, like, they think she's crazy, first of all, because no one believes her that this woman
Sure,
exists.
sure. So and they were told that Alma is like it's a stress induced like
Mhm.
seizures that are happening. I guess that makes it that's, like, still crazy to, like,
It
blame
is.
another child
Yeah, right,
for everything that's going on, who's also very scared and is not
right.
being listened to. Ugh.
And I guess, like, the other thing from Lewis's perspective at this point is, like, she just tried to run away with a stranger after stealing money.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure.
saying that he's in the right, but, like, this stuff is also part of
Yeah,
where his brain is coming
yeah.
from.
He has a reason to be mad, he's just, like, focusing it in the wrong direction.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. So Gretchen calls her mom again, hysterical, understandably, and she's
yeah.
just saying how badly, like, all she wants to do is go home. She just wants to get out of here.
Mhm.
It's night now, and Henry, the PI from earlier, arrives at Gretchen's hospital room. He says he was the one who saved her from the woman.
Okay.
So those gunshots were supposedly from him.
Yeah.
He says that he needs Gretchen's help to find that woman. She's wanted for murder, he says, and he expects she'll come for Gretchen again. He wants to work with Gretchen, but makes it clear that no one is to know because he doesn't know who to trust.
Oh, I don't know who to trust, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird. Why would if this is just a crazy woman accused for murder,
Mm-hmm.
why is this not being talked about elsewhere? Like,
Right?
so I'm like, is that the truth, or do you have a personal vendetta and know really what's going on too, and you're not sharing it because there's too much supernatural stuff happening
Yeah.
for me to be like, oh, I'm just gonna accept this story and just trust you completely.
Mm-hmm. Just some plain old murder.
Yeah, no.
That seems right. Gretchen goes with him to his room and he gives us a little lore drop. He tells us a
Ooh.
story. So, a month earlier, a couple had rented out one of the cabins at the resort. One night, the man lost consciousness and woke up to a strange blonde woman in his bedroom. His wife was also unconscious. The blonde woman's voice had a hypnotic effect on the man, and the man chased this woman into the woods, but she got away. When he got back to the cabin, his wife was dead, having choked on her own vomit. So this is a story that he's told us now. And like he's looking into this situation because he knows this story.
Oh, okay. That's, I mean, the vomit, that checks out.
Mhm.
Weird. This isn't the beginning scene
No.
family. Okay, so that's completely separate. Weird. Okay, just another like puzzle piece floating. Got it.
Yeah. Many of those.
Yeah.
So Gretchen remembers the other puking women, and
Mm.
they realize that all three of these people had been staying at the same cabin, a cabin called the Lover's Nest.
Oh no.
So Henry and Gretchen decide to stake out in the empty cabin next to the Lover's Nest for the night.
Okay. This is a great idea.
They're like, yeah, let's go see what's going on.
Yeah.
So at the Lover's Cabin, actually, Trixie's there staying with
No,
Eric that
I was
night.
literally gonna say I should have said it. I was like, "Oh, that's weird. We know some lovers in this movie,
We
Trixie and
sure
Eric."
do.
Oh no. Okay.
Trixie is setting up the cabin, like laying rose petals out, like she's
Mhm.
only in a towel, and she set up this whole romantic thing. But when Eric shows up, he's just kind of like, he's not like stressed or in a panic or anything, but he's like, no, 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 like we're gonna go. I don't want to be here. We're gonna leave. And she's like all pouty and upset about it, but she's like, fine, we don't have to stay. Let me just blow dry my hair and then we can leave. And it's
Hmm.
just, I don't really understand that interaction. Because it, like, they weren't even renting out the cabin. I think Trixie just kind of was like, I'm just going to take over. No one's staying here tonight because I would know that since I work at the front desk kind of
Oh,
vibes,
okay.
you know?
So he was like, go as in go to where they actually live, not like leave the whole resort.
Yeah, I think so. Like, just like for the night, he wanted to get out.
Yeah, okay.
So while Trixie's drying her hair, Eric begins to clean up the cabin and we hear a lot of birds again. And then the screeching starts.
Okay.
And then we also see the lady with the fast pulse in her neck again. We see that cut in as well. We're stuck in another time loop from the point of view of Eric. This one goes on for a long time. He
Mhm.
keeps like picking up the same glasses, putting them in the sink, picking up the glasses, putting them in the sink. And this keeps going until Eric walks up to a window and in the reflection behind him, the lady's just standing behind him.
Oh, I hate reflections and I hate dark windows. Like
Dark
rand
windows suck, dude.
random irrational fear of mine for sure. Like
Absolutely.
nightmares about
Uh-huh.
and like screen glass doors. I have
Yes.
nightmares about screen glass
You're so
doors.
real for that. You're so real for
Oh
that.
no. Okay. Okay. Well.
So we don't actually see what happens to Eric here, but we do cut to Trixie's point of view, and she's looking down an empty hallway when Scary Lady rounds the corner, kind of slow. Her mouth is wide open and contorted, and suddenly she's just screeching. It's like she's walking slow, and then there's like a cut, and it's like a few seconds later where she's just like screeching and kind of walking a little quick and like going
Ew, ew,
towards
ew,
Trixie.
no, ew,
Yeah.
no, ew. Oh my god. Oh my god, the way your body started moving just
I'm
then.
sorry. I did a little shimmy, guys. Cassie didn't like my little shimmy.
Oh, oh no. Oh my god. Oh my god, my imagination is so scary. I like okay, I can be patient. I literally I'm like I need to know what this woman looks like cuz it's probably less scary than what is happening in my head right
Honestly,
now.
it probably is, but I'm gonna let you live with that image.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, that's what I've loved about doing this is I think our imaginations can do more than like the actual movie.
Yes, it's such a
So
different experience. It's so fun.
it is. It's fun until it's not anymore.
Yeah.
So now we go back to the stakeout. We kind of cut back to the stakeout, and Gretchen's fallen asleep again. But Henry is aware that things are unfolding. So he heads out, weapon drawn, to
Mhm.
investigate.
Mhm.
So he sees through the window. He sees that Trixie is laying on the bed now. She's unconscious. In a way where kind of like where her like legs are dangling off the edge, like her back's on the bed and her legs are dangling off the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
And the scary woman is in there and she's kneeling in front of Trixie. And we hear some really bizarre sounds here. They're oozy, they're squishy, they're goopy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? But we don't see where that is coming from?
No, we just kind of like hear it. Like we know it's coming from the room, but we can't
Yeah.
see
Oh.
until we can.
Oh.
So th- just prepare yourself, okay?
I can't.
The scary woman, sunglass lady, she is crouching down and she reaches her hand between her own legs. And when she
Oh.
draws her hand back, it's full of clear, thick liquid. Goopy. Mm.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
What does she do with that?
So she pulls it out and she starts reaching her hand towards Trixie, towards Trixie's legs.
Uh-huh.
But then she stops because she hears something. Gretchen has made her way over to the house and for some reason has let herself in the front door.
Okay. Well, Gretchen, what are you doing?
Tell me why. I don't know.
Oh, can I just
Yeah.
I'm gonna retract sunglasses lady being an ally because this
Okay.
is getting to the point now where I'm like, what what are you doing?
What are you doing over there, lady?
Yep.
What's that? So the woman looks at Gretchen and begins screeching again, her mouth wide open. When I say wide, I mean like as wide, maybe a little abnormally wide.
Yeah.
So Henry is like, oh shit. He rushes in, takes a shot at the woman, but his aim is absolute ass. Like he's so
Ugh.
close and he misses. It's
Ugh.
kind of useless. But the woman runs away and he chases her and loses her. Of course he
Okay.
does.
Yeah.
Gretchen is still standing in the lover's cabin with Trixie's unconscious body, and she looks down on the floor, and there's just like this like wet circle on the rug where the woman
Mm.
had been
Yeah.
crouched down, which is really nice. It's like, oh, okay, thanks for leaving that there. Henry comes back in. He turns Trixie over so she doesn't choke on her vomit. He says, last time I was too late.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's the end of that day.
Wait, what happened with Eric? Is he
Oh,
just
Eric
still in
was
there?
just, he was just like on the ground,
Okay.
unconscious. Forgot to
Okay,
bring that up.
so they're both unconscious, but
Yeah.
they're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm
Uh-huh.
still thinking about those random circles in the forest that happened. Like
You
the
haven't
red
you
and
haven't
pink
figured that
one.
one out yet?
Wait, am I supposed to? Oh my god, when you it's the sunglasses. When
Yeah.
when you said it before, so how I pictured it was like big circles.
Oh,
Like
okay.
up in the trees, big type of
Got
circles, but
you.
they're like little ground level.
Yes.
So oh, okay, okay. So
Yes.
then that explains that, and then, you know what? I'm still stuck on the flute.
Mm. The flute,
Like,
that's a fair one. That's a fair one.
yeah.
So it's the next day now, and Gretchen is back home with Lewis, Beth, and Alma. And oh, of course, Kiernish is there too, because he's
Yes.
freaking always there.
Yep.
Gretchen, in front of everybody, starts questioning him because she's kind of had enough. She says she was with Trixie last night and that she was acting really strange, and she brings up the fact that the other guests had been acting strange in the lobby. He says, I'll look into it.
Okay. I don't know. There's really no value that this adds to this whole story, but I just would like for you to know that Mr. K in my head is Mr. Fulton from High School Musical 2 running the running the country club or
Wait,
whatever.
can I tell you who else Mr. K plays?
Oh yes.
He is Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
Which, like, I didn't know this till I looked it up after, and I was like, "Wait."
So he's way younger than I was expecting.
Yeah, he's a
Well,
young
right?
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty young.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just a fun little fun fact for everybody.
Yeah.
This is Beast from Beauty and the Beast. It's acting like a weirdo. Gretchen kinda keeps pushing because she's like, "Why does no one work in the lobby after 10? It's a hotel. Like, shouldn't someone be working at the desk?" And he's like, "No, no, no, like, it doesn't make economic sense." She's being super sarcastic and short with him when Lewis and Beth both, like, interrupt and are like, "Gretchen, stop. You just leave the man alone." But she continues, and she demands to know why Kiernish brought them here. He says that her parents are here to build a new resort. They're here because they're architects,
Oh,
and they're
okay.
gonna help expand the resort.
Okay. That's also interesting. Again, like all I do is read into things too much, but
Mhm.
it's weird that they're so close, have such a close relationship with the resort, like to the level of
Right.
building upon it. And it's now I'm like, do you guys know something? Is that why you're not
Mhm.
believing your daughter or trying to make her feel crazy?
Right. Gretchen, like, is still pushing. She's like, "I just don't why do we have to live here? Like, yeah, my parents can work on it, but why do we have to live here? That doesn't make any
Mm-hmm.
sense to me." And Lewis finally just, like, really cuts her off here, telling her to calm down. So, Kiernish whips out his handy dandy flute and starts playing it. Just
Well,
just, like, no explanation. Bro just, like, whips it out. It's just like,
we're all concerned, right? We're all like, what are you doing?
so that's what's freaking hilarious to me here. Because he plays a few creepy notes on his flute, and then he turns back to them and he goes, "You are here because your family belongs here." And then Gretchen here does, like, one of my favorite things in the whole movie. She looks at Kiernish, looks at her parents, and then does this over the top dramatic gesture at him like, "Are you seeing this? Like, what
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that?" And, like, it's just such a great moment because that's how you feel the entire film, and she just does it so well, and it's
That's
amazing.
so funny. I can feel the comedic timing there.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So Gretchen just, like, is letting out all her frustrations here, and Lewis yells at her to get out, but Kieran, she's like, "No, no, that's okay, I'll leave. Like, I'll go. I guess it's my time to go. Like, why were you even here in the first place, bud? Like, get out.
Yeah.
Go away." But before he pieces out, he says that he left the package that came in for them on the floor over there. This package contains some of Gretchen's mother's stuff, and Gretchen panics and she asks her dad why this box is here. And he
Mhm.
tells her, "I sold the house."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
I know. Like, this whole time, all Gretchen wanted was to go home.
Yeah.
And now that house is.
Also, that's a process, like, were you not gonna mention
Yeah.
anything the whole time about you, like, putting it up on the market or nothing? Like,
Yeah. Nope. Nothing.
oh, hate him.
So he continues to try to justify what he did when Gretchen just, like, straight up socks him right in the nose. Just
E
boom.
Yep.
Down. And we don't even see the aftermath of that situation because next we're just in Gretchen's room with the box of stuff. And she's obviously crying as she's looking through the stuff. One of the things that's in this box is Gretchen's mom's old voicemail machine. And it has all of Gretchen's voicemails on it, which is
Oh.
even more devastating because, like, she'd been calling that phone saying how bad she wanted to go back to that home where it was, and now that's just, like, with her in this place that she doesn't want to be.
Yeah, and she can't, like, send those thoughts anywhere, they just are gonna come right back to her now. Like,
Exactly.
there's no lifeline there for her to
Right.
vent.
And so she's able to, like, listen back to all the voicemails that she sent, but there's also another message on the machine. This message actually comes from Alma using her voice box machine.
Oh, okay.
And so this message says that Alma says to Mrs. Vanderkert, who is Gretchen's mother, she says she wishes she would call Gretchen back. She can overhear the calls Gretchen makes from her room and is sad that she never picks up the phone and thinks if Miss Vanderkirk would just pick up the phone one time, Gretchen would be a lot happier. So Alma doesn't know that Gretchen's mom has even passed away. She thinks
Yeah.
that she's calling and she's just not picking up. So it's like
Oh.
it's kind of it's sweet, but it's also just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, that's sad. That's a hard age, like 6. That
Yeah.
I'm not surprised she doesn't understand.
Right. Gretchen comes back downstairs and guess what? Her family has all left, but our bestie is still here. Kiernish is
No,
here.
no, he's not. Why? Lydia, he just said he was gonna
I
leave.
know he did, didn't he? He tells Gretchen that Alma had another seizure and that he says straight to her, "It is all your fault."
Oh my god. What? Why? No, because he knows. He has to know what this is. And it pisses me off that he keeps on
Mhm.
putting it on Gretchen.
Yeah, he's like straight up like what you just did scared her and it's all your fault and she had another seizure and whatever. Then Kiernish asks Gretchen to write a farewell note. Then they'll go pick up some money at his house, and he'll drive her to the train station so she can leave.
No, he's gonna
No.
kidnap her.
Would you at all do this?
I don't like with how bad the relationship is with my family right now. Well, my dad right now, and all the weird stuff that's been happening. We literally just tried to get out of this place not too long ago, and it's only gotten worse since. You know what?
And that's the thing, there's the desperation.
Yeah, I might like if there's any way for me to just get myself to the train station, I think I'd try to figure out that avenue first. But if there's
Mhm.
not and I just have to rely on him to get out of here, you know what? I'm at this point I'm like, you're a weird guy, but like get me out of here. But then,
Exactly.
he would lead me to my death. So
Right.
the
Right.
score has been plummeting for a while now.
It's going down.
Yeah.
Gretchen seems like a little weirded out by this, but like she really just wants to get out, so she agrees. She's like, okay, fine.
Yep.
She writes out a farewell note that simply says, I'm leaving, don't come looking for me. Which,
Mm,
like, is really an ominous note to leave, quite frankly.
yeah.
But she writes it and they're off. Now we're in Kernish's car, and he has a little magnet of a cuckoo bird that he's very fond of on his dashboard, and he also has a keychain of a cuckoo bird.
Well, that doesn't bode well considering the title of this film.
You know, it doesn't, does it? He proudly tells Gretchen about the bird. He's kind of gushing about it, like this is his favorite thing in the entire universe, this freaking bird. He just loves it so much. He says they're such a remarkable species. He loves these damn birds, okay? He says some species need our help to thrive and reproduce. I'm a preservationist, you know?
I'm so it's giving like Norman Bates talking about his love for stuffing birds for too
Mm,
long. So I can't say I'm comfortable right now.
no. No, you can't, can you? So anyway, after Kiernish is done gushing about a bird for far too long, they head inside his home where they immediately find Henry on the floor, the PI, blood on his face, and Eric is also there standing over Henry.
Just go on. Just go
Hmm.
on.
Kiernish wants to let Gretchen know who she's gotten herself involved with. Henry is not a cop, but an ex cop who was let go after digging into a case that he was personally involved with. Henry looks as though he wants to speak, but Eric has a gun to the back of his head, so he can't say a word.
Okay.
Kiernish orders Eric to take Henry into the police station to, turn him in, and leads Gretchen out of the room to get her the money that he promised her.
Wow. I'm surprised that he's going this. I didn't think we were getting any money. Why did I
I
just
know.
like I mumbled so bad? I don't think
I don't want to go around money.
I don't know what I meant. I didn't think we were getting any money.
So Kiernish leads Gretchen into a weird ass room. It looks like an indoor pool room, but instead of water in the pool, there is a bed at the bottom.
Okay, you know what? That's creepy. But as soon as you said there wasn't water in the pool, my mind went to the goop of the woman.
Ew! Oh my god! No,
And I got
girl,
so scared for what you were about to say.
girl.
So I'm honestly just thankful it's not that, but also
That yes,
why is there that's weird, just a
it
mattress at the
is.
bottom of this empty pool.
Yeah, there's actually, like, a whole bed and, like, a side table and, like, a
Oh,
chair.
that's weirder for
Yeah,
some reason. Okay.
yeah. So, Gretchen, like, looks at that and is like, "That's weird," and then turns to talk to Kiernish, but Kiernish has a spray bottle up, and he sprays something in her face. She's out. He leaves, he locks the door,
Yeah.
which we all saw coming.
Yeah, we've not been trusting of this guy for a while. I mean, it makes sense now that he was like, "Oh, the money is in here."
Yeah.
And then that's where it was about to go down.
It's like, "Yeah, come get the money." It's like, "Here's the candy in the van."
Exactly,
Yeah, you
exactly.
tell me there's money in this room, you're gonna give me? Okay, here I come.
Here we go. Oh, that's kinda weird what I'm seeing in here anyways. Oh.
Anyway, a little bit later, Gretchen wakes up and Kiernish is actually speaking to her through an intercom that's going into the room. He tells her that she has an opportunity to play an important role in their quote, quest for preservation. The adolescent needs to be trained, he says.
What do you mean adolescent? Like him herself? Or are we talking about someone
I
else?
don't know.
Oh my god, okay.
I don't know. What are we talking about? Because this man makes no sense. Everything out of his mouth makes no sense.
Also, they were talking about, like, adolescent at the beginning that
Right.
beginning scene. Okay.
So we're gonna leave Gretchen for a minute because we actually need to go see what's up with Louis, Beth, and Alma. So Alma's in the hospital being tended to by nurses and Dr. Bonomo.
Mm.
Dr. Bonomo gives Beth a sedative, telling her it should get her through the night. But Beth actually, finally, in this moment, seems a little skeptical and a little sush. So she's like, I'm just going to stay in the hospital with my daughter tonight, which is mildly frustrating to me, actually, because nobody did this for Gretchen. Like,
Yeah.
now it's Alma, and she's like, actually, I'm a little concerned. I'm going to stay with her.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
like,
little too late.
but here we go. We're back with Gretchen again.
Okay.
Now we're going back to Gretchen. Kiernish drops this line on us. He's speaking through the intercom again to
Mhm.
Gretchen. These creatures can't speak like you or I, but when trained, their song can be dizzyingly persuasive. Outside, we see a girl, the same girl from the very first scene in the movie. She's still in her pajamas from that opening scene, and we get that same chest shot of her with that really quick pulse moving in her
Oh.
neck.
Mhm.
The screeches begin, and Gretchen gets stuck in a new time loop as this girl approaches extremely slowly. But this particular time loop is actually terrifying because every time this time loop starts, Gretchen is like running down into the pool and trying to like grab a weapon to defend herself.
Ugh.
But like she keeps going back. But the thing is, the girl doesn't go back. The girl just keeps getting closer and
Oh,
closer.
no.
So it's just her that's in this time loop.
Yeah.
So the girl, this adolescent, lowers herself into the pool of sorts, and when Gretchen looks back up, the girl's gone. We see her
Oh.
lower her down, we get a shot back of Gretchen, we look back forward, and the girl's just gone. But of course, no, she's not. When we cut
Oh.
back to Gretchen, girl's behind Gretchen.
Oh, of course.
And what she does here is honestly kind of perplexing. She raises her hands on either side of Gretchen's head and just like claps her head really hard in between her hands. Like,
Ooh.
just this, like, aggressive clap of her head.
Ow.
Gretchen falls down semi-conscious, and the girl grabs her head again. And, like, there's just this really intense moment that's happening right here because this girl looks into Gretchen's eyes and stops for a second, and it's weird because it almost gives the vibes of a romantic moment, but
Mm.
not. But Kiernish is clearly concerned because we hear him come over the intercom and say, "Stay focused," and begin to play his little flute again. So, like, he doesn't like this little moment that's happening.
So he's, like, egging her on, this creature
Mhm.
on with the flute.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, can see into this room, he's talking through the intercom, he's watching, he's observing, and he's trying to control the situation a little bit.
Yeah.
So, the girl grabs Gretchen's head again, almost like she's gonna kiss her, like, she tilts her head, but instead, she opens her mouth wide and starts, like, biting at the air around Gretchen's head. I don't know.
Ooh.
It's just like this very aggressive, weird movement that's happening, and I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Now we kind of see where we're heading though, because the next shot is Gretchen laying back on the bed, kind of against her will, her feet over the edge of the bed, while the girl crouches in front of her.
Yep, and we know okay, so we're
Mhm.
picking up where we saw with what was happening with Trixie and Eric.
So this adolescent, this girl, reaches her hand between her legs. Same deal. It's gooey. She starts to reach for Gretchen's legs when Kernish shows up in the room, plays his little flute, and says, "That's enough for today. So I guess training's done. I guess we're done for now."
I'm
Cool.
so curious, like, what is supposed to happen from there?
Right.
Like, what I still don't understand the end goal, like, what he said that these creatures can be helpful in the art of, like, persuasion or whatever.
Mhm.
I just, like I'm like, "What have you accomplished so far with this, and what is your end goal right now?" That's where I'm at.
Exactly. Kierner says to Gretchen that her parents better hurry up with those construction plans for the resort expansion because this one, as he points to the adolescent, is gonna need her own mating grounds soon.
Oh my god. How many?
Mhm.
And we don't know how many of these there are. We only know of the 2 right now.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Mating grounds? Is that what is about to happen? Okay.
Huh. The panic on your face right now is so funny to me. Help. So, this is where Carnish also officially reveals that the woman who died a month ago was actually Henry's wife. She had been a subject for this procedure that went wrong. She was never supposed to die. And I feel like you can kind of pick up on that story that Henry told was his own story and
Yeah,
this yeah, it's kind of like it's not super subtle, but like this is where they confirm it for you.
yeah,
So Henry's that's why he's so obsessed with this whole situation.
makes sense.
He goes on to tell Henry that he's actually very lucky because he's been able to witness 3 laying ceremonies.
The fuck?
Yeah, just I don't know what that means exactly, but he's like, "You're so lucky. You've got to experience this. People don't get to experience this every day."
What the hell?
Like, "Okay, bud.
I'm so lucky. Yeah, I'm so grateful.
This
Thank
is
you so much.
so great." So then Kirnish speaks to Eric because Eric's watching over Henry back in that room where they were observing.
Right.
Yes. So he says to Eric that he needs to get Trixie ready to conceive. He tells him that his mishap from the night before must be considered a dry run in preparation for the real thing.
So is Eric is in on this,
Now we're kind of getting that Eric is actually a part of it.
but Trixie probably doesn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
That
Okay.
is the vibes that we're getting. So Eric's back in that room watching over Henry, and he's got like a gun up to Henry in case he tries anything, right? So we're in the room with Kiernish and Gretchen and the adolescent when we hear 3 gunshots go off.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, I told Eric not to do that inside.
Oh my
He should
god.
have gone outside to do that." And you're like, "Okay."
Making a mess in my house.
So Gretchen actually begins vomiting here because clearly that's part of the situation.
Yeah.
And Kernish walks over to her saying, "Oh no, you should be on your side. Wouldn't want you to choke." But then he grabs a pillow and just begins suffocating her with it.
Like, what is the end goal?
I
Because
know.
you didn't even do, like, complete the full, I don't know, ceremony, whatever you wanna call
Mhm.
it.
The laying ceremony.
Yeah, so why are you doing this now? I'm just, like, so confused, and so many people are throwing up. It also is making me wonder how many people it was, like, the full thing happened. He mentioned 3 that
Mhm.
he's witnessed. How many people has the full ceremony happened to? And but even just a half ceremony apparently causes the throwing up, so it's like I don't know what magnitude we're dealing with
Right.
here.
Very true.
Ugh.
Very true. As Kirnish is suffocating Gretchen, Henry actually walks in and straight up shoots Kirnish in the chest.
Oh,
He goes
okay.
down. He also kills the adolescent. So, what we are to glean from this is that he somehow obtained Eric's gun,
Yeah.
shot Eric 3 times, came in, shot the adolescent, and shot Kirnish.
Okay.
So yay, right? Like
Yes.
Henry and Gretchen, we're getting out of here. Get us the frick out of this place. So they have a nice little conversation that starts with Henry saying, "I think they impregnate women at the resort." Which I didn't mean for both my episodes to go this direction. I like didn't like That was not my goal.
Oh, no, I
It
didn't
just
even
happened this way.
it's such different situations that my mind
Yeah.
didn't even link the 2, but now that you say it, you know what? It's an interesting tie-in.
I watched this one for the podcast, so I didn't even know going in what was gonna happen, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn it, not again." Henry actually goes on here to educate Gretchen a bit more on the cuckoo bird. So basically, cuckoo birds lay their eggs in the nests of other bird species. They
Oh,
let other birds take care of their young, which is really wild to me. I don't know if it's just like lazy parenting, you know what I mean? Like they just like lay their eggs over there and they're like, you take care of it.
it's also crazy that the other birds are like, "Okay."
Right? Can you imagine if humans did that?
Someone
Jesus.
exactly. Just a baby on
Just
my
drop it up.
doorstep?
So, like, they're having this conversation, Henry and Gretchen, and then Gretchen starts to throw up again. And while she's leaned over throwing up, Henry sees a photo sticking out of her back pocket. So he snatches it up. The photo is of Kiernish, Lewis, and Beth. And on the back is written, honeymoon out the Alpschada Resort. So we start to see what's happening. Henry wants to know how old Gretchen's sister is.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
She's like a product of the experiment of what they're doing
Seems
here.
like it might
Oh,
be.
no.
So Gretchen wants to fill her parents in, obviously, but Henry won't let her. He says, we can't trust anyone. We don't know like who's in on it. So just stick with me. I'll keep you safe. I'll protect you. Don't reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
While all this has been happening, Alma's been at the hospital for her last seizure. And like I said earlier, Beth wanted to stay with her through the night, but she started to feel ill. And Dr. Bonomo insisted that she and Lewis go back home and leave Alma in their care. And because Beth is like really sick and out of it, like she's just like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So Henry and Gretchen arrive at the hospital. And while they're making their way into the hospital, we hear Dr. Bonomo creating what is like a voice diary note thing. She's talking about Alma. So I'm just going to read you what she says here because this gives us a bit.
Okay.
And think this is kind of like when you're playing a video game and you find a tape recorder and it's like a scientist, like subject, like that's kind of the vibes here.
Yep, got it.
Here's what she says. This is Homo cucliadae. I cannot pronounce that word, but it's, you know, like a species name.
Okay.
Cucliadae. Alma, astonishing resemblance to her surrogate mother, Beth. The surrogate mother's distress grows in close proximity to the biological mother. Thus, both host parents have been removed from the premises. Compared to animal brood parasites, Homo cucliadae developed a unique evolutionary trait. Instead of leaving their offspring in the care of a host, Homo cucliadae returns to claim their young. Contact with the biological mother speeds up the process of the offspring's physical development and its abilities significantly. We are about to initiate the first close distance encounter with the biological mother. So basically, this is like a weird little blurb that you get, but basically, like they're about to introduce Alma to her biological mother.
Are we assuming that it's a human or a bird?
A bird comes waltzing in.
I have no idea still what direction we're going.
Listen.
I'm ready for a bird in sunglasses to come say hi.
And I love that idea. So again, this was all being said over Henry and Gretchen sneaking into the hospital.
Yeah.
So they're making their way in and they've actually found the room where Alma's being held. Now, this room is very strangely enclosed. It's kind of a room it's got windows on both sides of it. At one window on one side of the room, we see Dr. Bonomo observing, and on the other side, we have Henry and Gretchen. But I think it's like one of those, is it two-way, one-way mirror things? Because it
Oh,
doesn't seem like they can see
okay.
the people
One
on
way,
the other
yeah.
side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is when Henry makes a realization. And it seems like somehow they overheard Dr. Bonomo's voiceover because like they seem like they're listening to it. I don't know how, but
Yeah.
I think they are.
We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it. So Henry makes this realization. They aren't impregnating the woman. They are implanting the eggs. The husbands are then expected to fertilize the egg during intercourse. So that's why they specifically use the lover's nest cabin because they know why people are there. So the
Oh,
chances of the eggs taking are going to be higher.
sure.
Of course, now we know that this procedure had been done to Beth. Lewis fertilized the egg and Alma was born. So Henry reveals that when this biological mother arrives, he's going to end the experiment, aka murder her.
Yeah.
Gretchen pauses and says, "Well, what about my sister?" He says, "That's not your sister."
And that's really interesting that he's saying that because of the beginning of the movie where yeah, where,
Right.
what's her name? Gretchen is like, "That's not my sister," but now she's like, "Wait a minute."
Mhm.
Especially because now this is, like, empathy from her because she's lost her mom, and she's like, "Wait, like, how you're just gonna kill her mom?" Are we assuming that this biological mom is the biological mom of every single person?
It's not entirely clear. It's not
Okay,
entirely clear, yeah.
okay.
So, guess who shows up?
Oh my god, the mom no, not Mr. K.
Kiernish. He's not
No.
dead. He's not dead. He's not
No.
dead. Of course he's not dead. Bro
No
ain't dead.
way. No
He
way.
shows up with like a bandage on his chest and there's just like a little bit of blood and you're like, "Are
Oh
you freaking kidding me?"
my god, just saving the bullet for later. I have something to say.
So he's like, he comes in and he's pissed off.
Yeah.
He stops the experiment. Like he's like, these doors had opened where clearly like the mother was gonna come through. He closes those up and asks Dr. Bonomo if the tapes that she's been recording behind his back, as he puts it, are still at her house under the stairs. And she's like, "Yeah." And then he just shoots her.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
What? Why?
So this part doesn't make a ton of sense until like if in about a minute.
Okay, okay.
Like, and it still doesn't make a ton of sense, but I think I kind of get what he's doing here. So
Okay.
just give it a second.
Yep.
So Kiernish walks into Alma's room with the gun, and Gretchen starts panicking because she's like, "What's he doing with the gun? Like, he's really close to her." But
Yeah.
Henry is holding her back. And Gretchen whips out her butterfly knife that she's been carrying around quite a bit, stabs Henry a few times so she can get away.
Ooh.
So now, like, our ally is semi our enemy, which kind of sucks, but they're two people coming from very different places in this situation.
Exactly, yeah.
Gretchen actually makes it into Alma's room, and Kiernish is gone. He's not there anymore, and Alma's fine. So she wakes Alma up and tells her they need to get out of here immediately. They begin to make their way through the hospital while we also see Kiernish is busy burning files, probably destroying evidence. Because
Sure.
if he thinks maybe Gretchen gets away, if she goes and tells, maybe they'll come and just blow everything up.
It's surprising that he's, like, that far ahead right now when he could
Right.
still stop it, like, from his perspective, but
And
okay.
and that's the thing. That's why I don't entirely understand like why this is his first like gut reaction, and maybe I'm misunderstanding something. If someone wants
Sure.
to correct me on Discord, go for it. Because like this is one part that I was like, "Oh, why is he okay, sure."
Yeah.
Gretchen and Alma are like trying to get away, and Alma starts twitching a little bit. Where she's starting to have a little twitchies.
Mhm.
And then we see Bird Mom, scary sunglasses lady. There she is. She's coming down the hallway.
You're telling me that Sunglasses is the mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There she
You
is.
know what? I should have put that together. Like, of course she is.
So Gretchen thinks fast here. She grabs a headset that happens to be laying by and puts it on herself. Now remember, this is important, and I almost forgot to remind you of this. Her arm is broken. Gretchen's arm
Oh,
is
yes.
broken, so she's kind of like limited in her motion and everything.
Yeah.
So she sees a headset on the ground. She grabs it, puts it on her own head because she wants to stop from being able to hear the screeching sounds.
Yeah, because we've put together the screeching causes that loop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what she does next actually is really interesting. She sees this crazy lady coming toward them, the scary lady. And so she takes her knife out and holds it above Alma's head. And this stops the
Mm.
mom immediately.
Okay. She's
Right.
got those mama instincts.
Exactly. So Gretchen also realizes now that she needs to block Alma's ability to hear. So she tells her to cover her ears, make sure like she can't hear anything. And then they slowly start to back away down the hallway, knife still raised over Alma's head. Crazy lady still just kind of slowly walking towards them, but not looking like she's going to attack because she's now worried about her baby.
Yeah.
So Alma actually finally turns and looks up at Gretchen and she sees that she's holding the knife over her. And I guess she just like has this panic, untrusting moment because she pushes Gretchen to the ground and runs off.
Okay. I can't blame her for that.
Right. She just looks up and sees that and she's like, "What the hell is happening? Don't do
Yeah.
that to me." In this whole like scuffle, Gretchen also lost her headset, so now she can't really cover her ears because she's got one arm, so it's kind of hard to cover both your
Mhm.
ears with one arm. But she's trying, she's doing her best. But now they're running because now there's no more threat. So here comes Bird Mom running.
Not the running. I don't like the running.
She's running. She's running all right. Alma runs into some storage room, and when Gretchen gets in there, she can't find her. So now we're just the two of us are in a storage room, but Alma seems to be hiding from Gretchen as well now
Uh-huh.
because she's like doesn't trust her. So, of course, Bird Mom was close behind, so she follows them in as well. But now it's stealth time. It's like stealth time in a video game.
Yeah.
We gotta hide. So, this part is like very tense and slow and creepy because Bird Mom's walking around trying to find the girls and she's screeching as she does it. Like, she just keeps like doing like
Mhm.
the screechy
Is it
sound.
kinda giving bird?
Hmm.
Yeah, like the screech.
Like a bird screech. Yep.
Yeah, I can
Mm.
hear it.
Yep, it's awful. Luckily, Gretchen manages to happen upon a random tape player with headphones and some music installed on it, which
Alright.
is very convenient. So
Very.
she puts those headphones in and turns on the music. Next thing we know, Henry's arrived as well. So all four of us are in this like storage room.
Mhm.
We're crouching between shelves as Gretchen in the storage room, and so is Bird Mom. And when Gretchen gets to a gap in things like stored on the shelf, so like picture like really big storage shelves,
Yep.
she gets to a gap and she looks over and like Bird Mom is like three shelves down also looking through a gap, and then like
No.
they have this intense moment of just staring at each other. It's so uncomfortable. I
That
hated it.
that moment, it's always the anticipation of something that scares me more than something actually happening.
Right.
Like, "Okay, what are you gonna do? What am I gonna do?" I
Uh-huh.
hate that anxiety.
Uh-huh. So they both like slowly, because they're both crouching, and then they slowly stand up and they're still staring at each other. But Henry's kind of in the background and he sees this happening. So he sees an opportunity. He goes over to the first shelf in this row of shelves and just pushes it over, creating a domino effect
Okay.
where all the shelves fall down, take out Bird Mom and Gretchen. He
Yeah.
kind of like in this moment doesn't give a shit and it's fine. Now, the music from Gretchen's headphones take over at this point, by the way. So there's no environmental sound. It's just like music and like
Mhm.
everything's in slow-mo for a minute here,
Mhm.
which is really interesting. So Alma, now she was somewhere hiding in the back of the room because she makes her running escape from the back. And
Okay.
Henry sees that and he goes to chase her because he wants her gone. He wants her dead.
Yeah.
So Alma's running down the hall and then she spots Karnish at one end of the hall. And she seems to trust him
Oh,
because she
no.
starts to run towards him. But seeing the gun out, she kind of gets scared because now she's like, wait, what the hell? Like, who do I
This
trust?
yeah, this
Like,
poor girl.
exactly. So she gets scared and she like just ducks down on the ground. Now remember, Henry was chasing her. So now at two ends of the hallway, we have Kirnish and we have Henry.
Yep.
Henry wants to kill Alma. Kirnish wants to kill Henry before he kills Alma. So like it's just an interesting dynamic of everybody's attacking somebody else.
Yeah.
Also, we're back to normal sound now. Just a
Okay.
side note. It was just like
Okay.
a weird moment of music. So Kirnish begins shooting at Henry and Henry at Alma. And in the chaos, Alma manages to crawl away into a room. They're going after each other, so she just crawls away. Back with Gretchen, she's in a lot of pain. I mean, a bunch of giant shelves just fell on her. And she screams, just like in pain. And who pops out of the pile of shelves but Bird Mom?
Oh,
She
okay.
is alive and well,
Of course.
but
Oh,
I don't know if this will make you happy or not. Her sunglasses have fallen
I've
off.
been waiting for this moment. Like, I knew it had to happen eventually. Okay, what's
Yeah.
under there?
It's spooky.
Oh, okay.
Listen, no, like it's not even that bad, but it's also horrible because her face, her face was just so like covered by like all this cloth and stuff before, and the sunglasses, the huge sunglasses. You can see that like her face is covered in rashes.
Mm.
And her eyes are in such a state. Like they're just I can't even describe to you. They're not glowing. They're just like all distorted. And like they're colors and there's multiple different colors and more layers, a lot less white in the eye, but still white. And there's
Mhm.
just like it almost looks like there's more rings in a way.
Weird.
It's a really weird look in her eye. And she's
Yeah.
also really screeching now too. Like the screeches are screeching cuz she's
Yeah.
pissed. So we see that and then we cut back to Alma who's running from the men again and she actually runs into a closet. So I have to try and paint a picture here because it's very important.
Mhm.
The men follow her into a room from different directions. And now we're kind of stuck in a standoff situation. So basically, this room has a closet in the center at the back, which is where Alma ran.
Mhm.
And down the room, there are these large pillars that are kind of just like on either side of the closet. Like, you know how some rooms just have like big pillars in them?
Yep. Yep.
So the men are kind of on either side of the room, each behind a pillar,
Okay.
like kind of very standoffy sort of situation. Henry's on one side, Kernish is on the other, Alma's hiding in the closet in the back. Gretchen and Bird Mom, on the other hand, are in the midst of an intense moment while this is happening because Gretchen is crushed under these shelves, but she can see that her knife is like an arm's length away. She's trying to reach for it, but it's difficult with a broken arm. And
Yeah.
when she goes to move it, like it hurts so bad that she screams out in pain again.
Yeah.
And Bird Mom, she hears this and now she knows exactly where Gretchen is under the
Okay.
rubble. So she begins digging out to get Gretchen and she finds her and just this is just a prolonged screech that she does right in Gretchen's face as she gets closer to her. It's
Mhm.
just so unnecessarily long and awful. Gretchen looks horrified as Bird Mom approaches, but she whips out her knife and stabs her in the throat. Clearly she was able to grab it with that
Oh,
scream of pain and she stabs her right in the throat.
interesting. I mean, self-defense, that's gonna be forefront of
Absolutely.
your mind. Just interesting
Like
because she was, like, unsure about killing her.
Bird Mom clutches at her neck as blood is it's like, you know, kind of comical. Like the blood is spurting.
Okay.
It's like a fountain of blood.
Yeah.
And Gretchen uses this time to escape the room because, you know, Bird Mom kind of dug her out, so she was able to get out.
Yeah.
But Bird Mom runs out into the hall after her, but only a few steps before she collapses to the ground and
Okay.
she dies.
Alright.
Gretchen stops and like has a moment where she goes back and she goes to look at this woman or whatever she is
Mhm.
and she actually pulls at her head and realizes she's been wearing a wig, that her
Oh,
hair is actually a wig, but underneath her head is it's not bald but like kind of picture like a baby bird. You know how it's kind of got
some fuzz.
scraggly fuzz and stuff. Yeah, she's got like scraggly hairs under there,
Interesting.
but her face, now that she's dead, looks almost normal.
Well, that sucks
Mhm.
because, you're killing this thing that now feels more human in its death.
And she actually does seem to feel bad
Yeah.
for a minute. Like she's just kind of sitting there looking at her. She doesn't snap out of it until she hears a gunshot. So she's like, "Oh crap, Alma, where's Alma?"
Yeah.
So she follows the sound to the room where those three other people are. She stands in the doorway of the room and can see Alma in the closet directly opposite her, but she realizes that Henry and Kiernish are both armed on either side of the room. Kiernish begins to shoot at her, she retreats, she gets back, but she doesn't stay quiet. She begins screaming at Kiernish, telling him that the mother is dead.
Mhm.
He doesn't believe her. He's like, "Where's your shotgun? You couldn't possibly have killed her."
Oh my god.
He goes on about how Bird Mom was after Gretchen specifically because she was competing for resources with her offspring. She was being a protective mom.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that like didn't even click with me the first time I watched it because I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess the fact that she was going after Gretchen like doesn't make sense unless you look at it from that perspective."
Yeah, I guess. It's weird though because well, I don't know. It's like that makes me think that Alma is her only child. Because
Mm,
if you have multiple children, I don't know, I think you learn resources can be split up for your multiple
right.
children, but it
Right.
seems like she was just so hyper focused on Alma that even Gretchen being around came off as a threat. That's
Right.
interesting.
So Gretchen gets tired of his rambling and just throws the bloody wig into the room, being proof that Bird Mom is dead. And this
Sure.
gets Kiernish. He stops him in his tracks, but it delights Henry. Henry is like laughing hysterically, full of joy, like in a scary, crazy way.
Oh,
Cause like, he's just like, oh my God, she's dead. She's dead. Finally, she's dead.
yeah.
And then this just kind of sparks a little bit of chaos between everybody because the men begin shooting again. They're shooting like at Gretchen in the hall, even though they can't really see her, and they're shooting at each other. And then Gretchen hears Kiernish like reloading his gun, and she's like, "Oh, this is my opportunity." So
Yep.
she runs across the room to get into the closet with Alma, and she makes it, and
Oh,
she's good, which
okay.
is a suspend your belief kind of moment, but a lot of this movie is, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now remember, Alma is scared of Gretchen right now. She doesn't really trust her since she saw
Yeah.
Gretchen with the knife. So Gretchen needs to regain her trust in order to get Alma to come with her. She starts signing to Alma, and she tells her that she's sorry, that she would never hurt Alma, and that they really need to leave. Alma still seems hesitant because she's just not sure.
Mhm.
So Gretchen goes on to say, "My mom called. She said she got your message." Alma responds with, "Will she come visit?" Gretchen shakes her head and she's crying, and she says she can't, but she says, "Thank you, Alma." And
Oh.
this, like, sparks something for Alma, and now she's, she trusts her, so it's, like, a really sweet moment. Gretchen reaches out for Alma, Alma comes to her, they share an embrace, they're crying, there's sad music playing,
Oh,
it's
man.
it's a whole thing,
Yeah.
but, there are also 2 men with guns outside,
Right,
so
we gotta get moving.
we got stuff to do. So Gretchen called out to Henry and says, "You said you'd protect me." And he says, "Yes." She continues, "Did you ever tell your wife you'd protect her?" And that kind of gets him. He responds, "Yes." Like he's clearly kind of angry and sad by that question,
Mhm.
but he says yes. This is when Gretchen and Alma begin to exit the closet. Because Gretchen's arm is broken, Alma is sitting on like a wheeling cart that they had found in the closet. And Gretchen is like embracing Alma. Alma's embracing her. Gretchen has her back to Henry. Alma has her back to Kiernish. So if Henry wants to try and shoot at Gretchen, he's risking killing Alma, and vice versa for Henry. If he
Yeah.
wants to try and kill Alma, he risks shooting Gretchen. So I like the thought of it. It still feels a little silly, but
Sure.
it's a nice thought, and I see what they're going for there.
Yeah.
So neither of the men are going to shoot because the risk's too high. They can't kill one and not the other. And so Gretchen and Alma, they're inching towards the door, rolling towards the door, and Henry begins pleading with Gretchen. He's saying that Alma isn't really her sister. She's a monster. She needs to die.
Ugh.
Kiernish is telling Alma she needs to come to him, back where she belongs. And it's just a lot of yelling and back and forth. It's very chaotic. Men are yelling over one another. They're kind of starting to come closer to the center because, like, I feel
Mhm.
like they're starting to realize, like, we can pull this off.
Mhm.
So Alma kind of stops and puts her hands over Gretchen's ears and begins screeching because she knows it will affect the men.
Oh my
Whether
god,
it puts
Alma? Alma put
Alma
that
does
together?
it.
That's crazy for her to put together.
It sure is.
Like, she's
But
so little, but go Alma,
uh-huh.
I guess.
I know. She puts her hands over Gretchen's ears, starts screeching, and whether it puts these men in a time loop or just messes with their head, you're not really sure because you're seeing it and it's like that kind of shaky effect. But like
Okay.
they're clearly not able to control themselves at the moment. And it's enough for Gretchen and Alma to escape. When the men come to, they both shoot each other simultaneously.
Whoa. Okay, just because of the spacing and, like, the time passage, and they didn't realize the movement that happened, so they
So
were aiming.
that's my guess.
Okay.
It's not clear because there is a bit of a beat before they shoot each other, but I like to think that they were both shooting at the girls, but because of
Yes.
the time loop, they shot each other.
Yes, that's where I'm going as well, yeah.
So Gretchen and Alma exit the hospital. It's morning now, which is weird to see like a nice bright sunny sky because it's just been so dark and depressing. Outside in the parking lot, Ed stands in a hospital gown, and Gretchen, I don't know if she's just exhausted or what, but she just straight up collapses onto the
Mhm.
ground.
Valid.
Honestly fair. Yeah,
Yep.
it's so valid. Next thing we know, we're in the car with Ed again. Gretchen and Alma sit in the back seat together while Ed drives. We're out of here. And that's the end of the movie.
Oh, wow.
And scene.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
So this is what
so
I call batshit mindfuckery.
yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it.
I always love some mindfuckery, I can't lie.
Uh-huh.
But so then are we led to believe that Alma is gonna grow up to literally be what her mother became?
So kind of because basically like what we are meant to glean is that this is a species of semi-human that
Mhm.
has been kind of being worked on for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And Alma is one of this species.
Yeah.
And so was her mother, and also the girl from the beginning, like, she was one of them,
Yep.
and, like, Kiernish kept going on about preservation. He wanted to preserve the species, and it seems like this species, don't ask me how it started, is a mixture of cuckoo bird and human.
Yes, that's one thing that I wish we could get into in this movie is like the origin of this whole mess. Because I'm just like,
Exactly.
how do you even begin an experiment like this?
Right. At one point, Kiernish makes a comment about it being hundreds of years in the making. So, like,
Oh,
this has been happening for a long time. And there's also another thing that I didn't include where Henry, like, at one point is talking about, like, we don't know how many of them there are.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what, how many are out here now? Do they like, are they just on this resort property or is it like spread? Have they spread beyond that? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's wild. I would like to believe that Alma's gonna grow up happy and healthy with Gretchen.
Right.
That's my
Exactly.
headcanon.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna go with. But it's just it's oh god, it's such a weird movie. And I didn't understand half of the shit until I watched it a second time.
Interesting.
It's super convoluted, and then also when a lot of it's, like, in German and you're getting
Mhm.
distracted by that aspect, like, that is a complaint that some people have about this film. It's just, like, the pure insanity and convolution of everything, and, like,
Sure.
people also say, like, it's so goofy, but it takes itself seriously, which is true.
Yeah.
People are like, "It shouldn't have taken itself so seriously because it is so ridiculous." But I
Oh.
think it's a fun concept regardless, like, I've never really seen a movie like this one before in
Yeah.
this done in this way. I don't know, so I enjoyed it, but I will admit, like, it's insane.
You know what? I just looked up what this sunglasses lady looks
Oh,
like.
yeah!
It's not that far off from what I was picturing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
For some reason, it was like cartoon mode in my head, like not
Mm.
completely, but like a weird in between. And she looks a lot, I guess, more human than I was picturing,
Okay, yeah.
but not that far off. That's crazy. Like that's an interesting aspect just how they look for them to look that human and then be like, "Well, that's not human." But it is. Like we chose life for Alma, but we had
Mhm.
to it's like I wonder if Alma would become more I don't know, monstrous if she were to conceive and like there's something in that DNA that comes to like when they have children, then something switches inside them.
That's actually a great question, and I think this is one of those movies that leaves so much, open at the end
Yeah.
because I definitely don't want a sequel to this film, but, like, you are kind of asking, like, "Okay, like, how many are there? Are they
Mhm.
going to take over in, like, a million years or whatever?" Like, you know what I mean? You don't know what this
Yeah.
species is actually like because you only see a
Yeah.
few of them out there.
This is one of those movies where I'd love a prequel.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think a prequel would be really interesting.
Survivability wise,
Yeah, girl, what's your survivability score? Hit me with it.
I would say, oh man, this is definitely on the lower, like under 50% for me
Mhm.
because you have that isolation where you're just at this resort. I wouldn't do well with my family turning against me and just having to be on my own in all of this.
Mhm.
Like even Henry, who kind of became an ally of ours at one point,
Right.
still didn't align with us and it's like you're truly alone through this whole thing. Oh man. And she had to kill her with a knife and we've talked about that where I'm
We
like I don't know
have
if I can kill someone with a knife. Do you know what? I'm going to give it like a 32.
32.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna continue the trend here because I gave it a 12.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I see. That's valid. I can't remember what exactly. I think I was in like low 30s with 28 days later from what I can remember.
Yeah, because I think
Um
we were both pretty low on that one.
yeah.
So our combined score is 22.
22. Wow, that's lower than 28 days later. That's
That
interesting.
is really low. I just I think the one question I have is Bird Mom, what was she ever gonna do? That is one
Oh,
question I have because she only ever got close.
what's up with the goop?
Well, the
Like
goop
what does
is
she want to do with that? Like where is she
those are
putting
the
that?
eggs.
But like so was she going to put them inside like
Yeah.
fertilize these? Oh
She
my
wants to put
god.
the eggs inside so that the man then comes and fertilizes those eggs.
That's so okay, so that's what I was confused about. So they're basically saying like the man has sex with the woman with the eggs inside the
Inside of
woman.
her.
Is that like am I stupid or is that like that's fantasy, right? Like that's not Or is it, like, up to chance then of
I
which
think it's
egg it
up t
attaches
I
to?
think it's up to chance. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I understand exactly everything that goes on in there, but,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like her eggs are still in there, so it
Yeah.
could be her eggs or it could be, like, the bird, like, eggs that get
Yeah.
fertilized. They do it a lot, and then I just think, which ones take, because
Yeah.
those other women who were puking, like, that it had to have happened to them too, right?
Yes. Yep. So that's what I'm saying, there's gotta be a lot out and still to be born.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32, I'm going there just because it's like when it comes down to it, especially when there's like another kid involved that I'm trying to protect, I do think that gives me a motivation that I wouldn't otherwise have when I'm like
Mm.
completely isolated and I have like no reason to go on. Like you can become very hopeless very easily in Gretchen's position, but Alma, like just trying to get through to her, that's like the motivation that maybe I would need to stab someone in the throat, honestly.
Actually, that's a good point because you're not just fighting for yourself. You're
Yeah.
fighting for your sister.
Yeah.
I think the reason I go so low is because it's just like there were so many instances where Gretchen like did try to leave but wasn't able to. Like going with Ed and then Bird Mom's in the freaking street and they crash the car and she's got a broken arm and like if I
Yeah.
had a broken arm, what am I'm not doing anything. Like
Yeah.
I just know myself. I don't think I would have a very good chance.
Yeah. Isolation is like one of the biggest factors into a survivability score for me.
Mm.
Like when you're stuck somewhere, that's like an immediate off the bat under 50%, and then I go from there.
Yeah, that was a low one, but you know what? I'm good with that. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little crazy, but we like to be a little crazy here. It's
Yeah.
fine.
No, this was a fun one. This was a fun one.
Make sure you let us know your survivability score over on our Discord, and we'll give you that average a week out from now. If you want to access the Discord, you can check it out in the link in our Instagram bio. Our Instagram is I'd Survive Podcast, and all of our links are there. So you want to find us, just go there, and you can find everything else. Thanks for listening, and make sure you let us know. Would you survive?